Hi, and welcome back to Thinking Kingdom Thoughts. I'm Tracie, and I want to thank you for coming today. And today's show is another personal testimony. This is Brandy DeFore,
Hi.
and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and then I'll pray.
Oh, a little bit about myself. I don't
Yeah.
know. I turned 40 this last year, happily married for 10 years. I've got a son that's 19 and out of the house, so I'm an empty nester. I like to read a lot, paint, do all kinds of arts and crafts, and of course bake. I bake all the time. I'm always doing baking. It feels like half my life, but I love it. I enjoy it. So, and of course, getting to spend time with everybody else. So that's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you haven't had a cake until you've had a brandy cake.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yes. And is there a way for people to get a hold of you to order cakes? Or
I have an email address. That's about it.
Okay.
I don't really. I haven't created a page. Everybody keeps fussing at me to create a page, but it's kind of difficult with living in a camper and stuff right now. I have to take all of my baking stuff, all of my supplies, my mixer, everything to someone else's house to bake right now.
Right.
So, I've been pretty much take over someone else's kitchen every single time I need to bake.
Wow.
So once I have a house built, that's way different. It'll be way different. You know, but so that's the biggest reason I haven't really created a page and made more of a deal about doing orders and stuff like that, because I stay so busy right now with just word of mouth.
Right.
So
that's what happens when you make good product. Word of mouth. You don't even have to advertise.
Yeah.
Well, I could post your email in the description if you want.
Yeah, if you want, that's fine.
Alrighty. So I'm going to pray, and I'm always got everybody else praying. So now it's my turn.
Because I was nervous. So I told her she gets to do it.
That's right. Father God, we just come to you and thank you for all the miracles that you've been given our tribe lately. We do appreciate it. We recognize it, and we just want to give you the glory for it. And we do want to share that with other people as it happens. Thank you for what you've done for Melissa. A few weeks ago, I asked people to pray for her, and the prayers are working. Thank you for that, Lord. You are a mighty God, and we just really appreciate you. And we just ask that this go out to those who need to hear it. And hopefully it'll draw them closer to you in a relationship. In Yeshua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Melissa's been doing really well. I got to spend the night with her earlier this week. So she's been doing really well at the hospital. Well, she's in rehab now, so she's doing really well with that. That's doing physical therapy and occupational therapy and doing a little bit of speech therapy. That's more so to help with her lung capacity and stuff like that. But she's just doing so well, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to say it or not, but I think she only has a week left at rehab. So
we love hearing this, don't we? And getting the updates.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's happy about it. She's very goal focused, very oriented. She's been getting good sleep at night, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So she's been doing really well. When I was up there, she got to sleep on her side for the first time. So she's sleeping on her side, breathing really well, stats staying up. She's not even on monitors or anything anymore. She's on oxygen, and that's it. But she's not even on monitors. So then.
Wow.
So she's doing really well.
That is fantastic. I love to hear that. Okay, so my first question usually is, how long have you had your walk with Yah?
Well, I guess I could say 11 years, because it's been 11 years that I've known Aaron. We've been married for almost 10 now. That's whenever I really started to focus more on the Lord and walk in the path than I haven't, even more so than I did as a child and as a teenager and things like that, whenever you're just kind of going through the motions when you're going to church. So
right.
I would say it's been about 11 years when I chose to, follow the Lord and, those things.
So what is your kingdom thought during difficult times?
Kingdom thought. I try to stay a very positive person. So I always try to focus on that, on the positives, like stay focused on the fact that no matter what's going on, it's only a season. Like it's not gonna last very long. It may, in the moment, it may seem like it's never gonna end, but it does.
Yeah.
It does. And, from going through horrible times, even going through childhood that's a horrible times, or, teens, when teens think the world's gonna end, and emotions are running and they don't know what to do with themselves. It's all literally a season to where, now, like, my kid's grown, gone out of the house.
Yeah.
I look back and it's like a blink of an eye. It literally is a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
That everything goes by. But in that moment, it's hard to realize that. So I just try to focus on the fact that, yes, it may be difficult right now, but there's a reason for it, and it's a season. Mm-hmm. It's literally a season, and it's going to change, and it's, something good will come of it, and it'll build you up and make you stronger through going through the difficult times. I mean, we're not even going through like that difficult of a time right now. We don't have an actual physical home to live in, but it comes with certain trials and tribulations with, like I was just telling you before we started the video, I've gone a week without water in our house. So, you go through things like that when you're living in a camper and things that, multiple families in our congregation are going through that right now of learning to live in a camper and not in a home, and it comes with different difficulties. So, some of us are planning to stay in campers, and some of us plan to have homes, and so I just look forward to the fact that I'll eventually have a home, and I just have to focus on the fact that will happen. That's the Lord's going to provide, and it will eventually have a home again, and just tough out what we got right now.
Yeah.
So.
And you do a good job of it. She really does stay positive.
Not always, but when I don't, then I tend to lean on the wisdom and stuff. And we have such great fellowship, and I have such great neighbors and friends and things. So when it gets difficult, we lean on each other. Yeah. And that's something good to have. It's good to be able to lean on each other. You don't fight it alone. First off, you've got to lean on the Lord, but also, on your fellowship and stuff too. It helps keep you strong. Yeah,
through him, and he, we have strength.
Focused on the positive.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite scripture?
It would probably have to go with Esther 4:14.
Yeah.
This is the moment for which I was created, something like that. I wrote it down. I can't always remember it exactly how it is, but basically, perhaps this is the moment for which you have been created, basically. And so that just, it's always, I know people look at it different ways, but it always has just given me hope, that talking about the same things it gives me hope that, there's a purpose and a reason for things, no matter what it is. And it was probably one of the times I read that, it made me realize, when you're struggling with stuff when you're younger and things like that, and you wonder, do I have a purpose in life? Yeah. That gave me a little bit of peace, that there is a purpose and a reason for things, and a reason for us to be here and doing what we're doing. And I love serving others. That's just
she does.
That makes my heart full. Doing things for other people, and I wish more people, I mean, I know it's hard, and it's hard sometimes to be a servant for someone else, but when you actually do it, and whether you provide a meal, or whether you rubbing somebody's feet, or just being nice and saying a nice word, or giving them a nice word, or you notice that they're having a bad day and just trying to talk to them, just being like positive, kind, and stuff like that, it's very, very rewarding. Yeah. So, and I can say that, like, for this last year, I haven't had a job for over a year now, and the Lord has completely and totally provided. That's all been on the Lord providing for me and my husband. Neither have had a job. Yeah. And so, being able to just drop everything whenever I can, and I'm not saying this to tout myself or anything like that. I'm saying this for the Lord's glory. Like, to be able to drop everything and be able to go help people, babysit, take food, or just sit with somebody, go to the hospital, all of that stuff has literally, like, been so soul filling for me.
Oh, good.
Because I was just so weighted down when at work, so stressed out in the rat race of going to work, earning money and stuff like that, and so focused on, having to get through that, and then you finally hits you that it's just not that important, and
yeah.
I was working 80 hours a week and killing myself with that job, and it was just not fulfilling at all. And
right.
So the whole last year of no job whatsoever has been so fulfilling to be able to do stuff.
Yeah, a job is really distracting. Although we have to have them to
provide, yes.
But yeah, it is distracting for sure.
I'm looking forward to the new one. Just hopefully be different.
Yeah.
8 to 5, and I can still do things in the evenings, and I'll still have my weekends and my Shabbat. So
that's really good. When does that start?
February 28th.
All right.
My first day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That is fantastic. So would you mind sharing your testimony?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to put it into words, or I'm very nervous about this. I was telling her I'm sitting here sweating to death. But I just, it's hard because you look at other people's testimonies and the things people have gone through in life, and it's really, the spirit of comparison. And I know you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
You're not supposed to compare. But at times you're like, how is my testimony going to help anybody or change anything or do anything for anybody like that? And so it just, I hope it helps somebody. I hope it relates to someone or something. But
yeah.
So basically, anyway, when I was growing up, my parents, my dad and my stepmother, sent us to Baptist church growing up. They didn't really actually attend themselves. They took us to church and dropped us off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was, so nowadays I look back and I think they were just using church for babysitters. They sent the 4 of us kids to church just to, for their Sunday quiet time, because I can count on one hand how many times I had actually seen them attend church. And
yeah.
But we were old enough to go and do Sunday school. But we did the Sunday school, Sunday morning, Sunday service, and then go back Sunday nights and do the kid teenager thing, and then Wednesday nights. And so we were kind of real involved and stuff somewhat, but at the same time, on the other end of it, I lived with my mom most of my life. I would just go to my dad's every other weekend, so I'd only be going to church every other weekend and stuff. And my mom, when I was growing up, was dating women and stuff like that. So I grew up very, I grew up very split home. One side is the very liberal, easygoing kind of mindset, learn from your mistakes, live life kind of mentality, to going to my dad's house where my stepmom was Catholic. We were going to Baptist church. My dad's very military, rules and regulations. You're not allowed to make a mistake. And so I grew up with this yin and yang type environment because, you're divorced parents. And so you're trying to navigate your way through that. And then also my grandmother was a very big influence in my life. My grandmother, God rest her soul, I miss her so much every day. I think it's something I want to call my grandma and talk to her. But she helped raise me, with my mom being a single mom, she helped raise me. So she was there for a lot. My grandmother went to Baptist church, and so we'd go to church with her and stuff like that. So growing up, it was just like I was saying, going through the motions. I got saved when I was 8, but how can anybody really at that age be saved? You go through the motions, but fully dedicating your life, unless the Lord has just moved in you. Right. You just you're just doing what you're taught, basically, and how you were growing up. So life is not that difficult. There is issues with going back and forth like that, but life just wasn't. I don't feel like it was that bad. You look back on it, I had all I could have wanted, was provided for. Right. My mom did struggle quite a bit. I do remember the times, people act like, you're handed a silver spoon or something, but I wasn't. I remember times digging out change and having to walk down the street to buy bread or something. Me and sister and, you know, all of that stuff. So it's not like I was privileged or anything like that, but I don't feel like I had that bad of life. I was blessed with a lot of things. I got to go see a lot of things and do a lot of things. I got to go on vacations and see a bunch of stuff in the world. I got to go to Florida and go to California a lot because my stepmother's family all is from California. So, you know, I've gotten to see the Grand Canyon and the Grand Tetons and all of that stuff, you know, all kinds of national monuments and things. And my mom ended up moving to Washington State when I was, well, I'll jump back a little bit. Okay, so when I hit high school, my mom decided to move, and we couldn't live with her anymore. We needed to live with my dad in Yukon. So I went from going to Mustang all of my entire life until 10th grade. So 10th grade, I had to switch to Yukon.
That's so hard for a teen.
And in that summer, switching to 10th grade, I started dating a boy, and, you know, the sweetest guy ever, your first love. And I ended up, one of the nights I left visiting at his house, had a car accident and totaled my car. So the front tire of my car blew out as I was driving down a freshly graded, anybody that lives in the country, you know, they put that fresh gravel down, you go any bit of speed, like over 20 miles an hour, and it's just like, you're just fishing in the gravel. Well, I was going probably 35, 40 miles an hour, maybe 45, and one of the neighbors' big, I say all this, I'll get to the point why this is part of my testimony, but big dog ran at me, one of those huge Great Danes, and I drove this little itty bitty car. So anyway, I swerved to miss the Great Dane, and then of course in that gravel, my car is just doing this. The front tire blows out, so the car like bites dust and just does this, dunk, 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 tumbles over itself.
Goodness.
I landed it upside down in the ditch, up against the embankment. So I literally couldn't find a way out of the car, so because of the driver's side's up against the embankment, the driver's side windows are bashed out, but they're up against that embankment. I can't get out. The passenger side windows are still intact, windshield's still intact. I couldn't tell at the time, but the trunk I thought was still closed, but it was actually open. So anyway, I climbed out on the driver's side up against that embankment there and started walking down the road screaming. You know, and I was hanging upside down in my seatbelt. Thank God I had my seatbelt on, or I probably would have been thrown out of the car. So anyway, after all of that, looking back, like when we finally get all the emergency people there and stuff like that, they're asking me how I got out of the car, and I'm telling them, and you know, I'm becoming a statistic basically. They're asking me how fast I was going, you know, did I have my seatbelts on, blah blah blah, and they kept asking me how I got out of the car. And I was like, I got out on the driver's side. And the firefighter finally looked at me and he said, "There's no possible way you got out of the car on that side." So to this day, what I think, and Lord knows what actually happened, I don't know whether, you know, adrenaline set in and I squeezed out on that side by pushing out away from the car, but the firefighter swears there's no way I got out of the car on that side of the car.
Well, let's give God the glory on
that.
Right,
exactly. And so that's the first time that it hit me that I had the Lord's protection. That was the first time at 16. You know, unfortunately it happened because of a tragic event, you know, or, you know, thankfully I didn't even get hurt. I barely banged this knee up against the steering wheel, had a couple of pieces of glass in my hand. Nothing.
That was it.
From toppling my car and totaling it, landing it upside down. I could have been dead, could have been hanging outside, you know. So yeah, that was the first moment that it hit me that there's someone / more powerful out there, and I have the Lord's protection and stuff. And so there, you know, I spent more time, you know, trying to get to know the Lord, but still trying to go into First Baptist Church, like growing up a teenager, like we went on trips and stuff with the church and things like that. And then my senior year, my mom decided to move to Washington State, and it kind of like set off like a domino effect. My mom and my little sister, whom, you know, being a single mom, I'd been with my mom, my little sister, and me most of my life until my graduating high school. My mom decided to move to Washington State to live with her new partner, and my little sister wanted to go with her. My little sister was younger, and she was like, I still need my mom, I still want my mom, and you know, I was in high school, and and I had a car and plans and a boyfriend and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it just hits you that, you know, you're no longer going to have your mom around. And I graduated high school, and it just, like, I don't know, I did a whole, like, 180 in life. Like, just started going out, drinking, hanging out with people I shouldn't be hanging out with. I never really I never have done drugs in my life. I've drank, but I've never done a drug in my life. Just hanging out, doing the things you're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
So then, of course, you know, you get wayward, and you get away from that aha moment.
Right.
Of there's something, you know,
more powerful
in life, but then you turn from it. And of course, you know, I'm 17, 18. You don't know what you want in life. You don't know how to live. And therefore, I ended up, you know, having my son. And when I had my son out of wedlock, that was another detrimental type thing, because I was still trying to go to church. But the church at the time completely and totally turned their back on me. Just, you know, they look down on you. They look badly on you. They don't want to be accepting and, like, try to, like, bring you back in or reel you back in or anything like that. They want to, you know, just judge you.
Yeah.
And of course, all of us make mistakes. All of us have sin. You know, there's not.
That's right.
Nobody. And so that was very difficult for a long time. It made me, like, turn my back on the church. Of, you know, they want to turn their back on me and things like that. So for a very long time, I didn't go to church unless my grandmother asked me to go. She helped me raise my son. She was the biggest part. She helped raise me, but now she's helping me raise my son.
Yeah.
And you know, we would go to church occasionally with her, but just not have that much, you know, of a faith.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you always question things being in church. A lot of people do, and they just don't bring it up. You question, like, why do we do Sunday service? Why do we have this? Why do we have that? Why do we not follow certain laws? Why do we not do those holidays? And then it starts, like, as I've gotten older and my son started growing, you start questioning the holidays, like Christmas and Halloween and stuff like that. Like, it starts to, like, settle in on you. Even though I wasn't going to church and stuff like that, it literally starts to, like, settle in that that's not really what we should be doing. And for the longest time, like, Halloween was one of my favorite holidays.
Me too.
And so it took me a while to get to that, we don't need to be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And so then when JD was like 8, I'd been a single mom for, it was about 8 years. I met Aaron. Aaron was a customer in my store. So we met at 7-Eleven. But I would have to see him all day long, every day. You know, he was a Cox cable man, and so he'd be using that as a restroom stop and snacks, and his first stop in the morning to get him drinks to go to work. So I saw him, like, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So whenever I started talking to Aaron, you know, he was very forthcoming about, like, what he wanted. You know, he wasn't dating to joke around, to be, you know, just hooking up or anything like that. No, he wanted a wife, and he always explained, you know, his belief and his faith and stuff like that, you know, because he's been doing this over 15 years, I think, now, or more. So he'd done it quite a few years before I met him.
Right.
And so, you know, whenever he started explaining, you know, being Torah observant and stuff, it just kind of, like, struck home.
Yeah.
You know, it starts making sense. And then for the first time, I started thinking, you know, I should probably pray about this. I should, you know, talk to the Lord again and you know, pray. Is this something that, you know, is right for me? You know, because for so long I'd given up on guys. You know, dating and being a single parent and running a business 60 hours a week and stuff. I'd just given up on that. And so whenever it was really Aaron that, you know, bringing that faith back around and telling me about that and telling me his wishes and his wants and telling me about his faith and all of that it really started to, like, click and hit home. And from the time we started dating, I got rid of all the unkosher stuff out of our household.
Yeah.
Just out of respect for him. Like, as I was learning, but out of respect for him.
Yeah.
I got rid of all of that. And then, you know, he would take me to Shabbat services on Friday nights when they used to do it at Lion and Lamb at B'nai Shalom on Friday nights. And so, you know, it was very, like, different, you know. But whenever I heard, like, I love seeing when they do, I forget what, like, Kiddush and stuff. And whenever they do, the husbands do prayers over their wives. And when they do the prayers over their kids, it is so beautiful. And it hits me so hard watching that whenever the husbands are blessing them. Because it's just not something I'd ever seen. Like, you know, husbands paying homage to their, you know, wife and blessing their kids and, you know, thanking the Lord for what the Lord's giving them. And it hit me really hard, and ever since then I've loved it. I enjoy it, and I know nothing. I still am learning so much all the time. Like you know, and I feel like I've learned a lot more in the last year or so because I was working so much that I just didn't get time to dedicate to the Lord like I wanted to. So this last year and a half has really been, you know, spiritually strengthening for me and for our marriage and everything like that. And, you know, my son doesn't live in our house or anything anymore, but I pray for him all the time because, you know, we didn't, and that's my fault. I mean, he didn't grow up very religious at all, and for him to get wrapped over straight into, you know, trying to go to church on a regular basis and changing the rules in the household and things like that, it was very different for him and very hard at times. And at times he was okay with it. So far that I understand right now, he's still like eats kosher and still, you know, but he won't come do the holidays or anything with us. But I mean, I'm just trying to pray for him, you know. He's got to go through his own life and live his own life and learn things his own way. And as much as, you know, I don't want to push, because it's too hard when you get things pushed on you and shoved down your throat and things like that. You despise it even more if it's like forced on you and shoved on you instead of letting you learn and stuff like that yourself. But so it mainly because of Aaron, you know, that bringing that back around. But just that when I was 16, that was the first instance that it actually like hit me that, you know, there was a higher power. And then when Aaron coming around, that it was just you know, affirming like questions and just, you know, and even now talking to my mom, telling my mom, like, I have way more friends now in my life than I ever have in my entire life. Like, I have way more close relationships with people that I can lean on, you know, not even just because I have the Lord, you know, but not just because I have that, but because of him, I have all these wonderful relationships with people that, you know, I can lean on, depend on, and do things for, and it just,
we have an amazing
made my life
time.
full.
And I know what you're talking about with, you know, him explaining, I'm here not for a hookup, but for a lifetime. And we have such honorable men in our tribe. Honorable men.
Very much so.
And it would be hard for a young girl coming in out of the world or a young man to fully understand that until, you know.
Just the honor and faith that they go into it with, you know, and the maturity and just, I don't know, it's very awesome to watch. And I don't know, and my husband's that way, not for just me, like, you know, there are other, like, Ann for sake. He's been a friend with Ann before I ever knew him. He's very protective of Ann and everything too, even though, you know, that's not his wife or anything like that. That's a friend of his, and he'll always protect her and be here for her, you know. So just as a sister in the faith, you know, and he's like that with anybody, you know, sister and brother in the faith. He'll defend and protect, and you know.
Yeah,
that's
they are.
A lot of our men.
Yeah, they're warriors in so many ways. And, and I do see that in women too. I see warriors.
And it's a very different thing coming out of the world because you're so used to women being. I've never had very many women friends because they're so catty and you know, just crass towards each other, and they don't look out for each other's back or have each other's back. And so it's just very different for me now in my life to have very close women friends, and to have such, you know, wisdom to lean on, you know, with you and Kimberly and you know, Amanda and all of them, like, just women to lean on, just,
they're amazing women. They really are.
Well, and you too.
And
you too.
You too.
No. I'm still learning.
I wish that you guys could see the generosity and the love that this woman has for all of us. I mean, she will run a meal to someone across the state, you know, and just amazing things.
But that's all the Lord, like, literally, like I said, the Lord was providing. So, like, this last year and stuff, like, the Lord's providing for me. So who am I to not be trying to be providing for someone else or doing for others? You know, the Lord's doing for me and taking care of me. So, you know, I can't sit at home and just be like, twiddle my thumbs. No. Right. I want to be out there taking care of somebody else and doing the Lord's work, because that's what we're called to do. We're called to take care of each other and you know.
Yeah, but living it out, some people don't live that out.
It's hard.
Or
it's hard.
They're gifted in a different way, I think I should say.
Yeah, not everybody's called to do that. Literally, not everybody's called to do that. Some people are called to be worship warriors, and some people are called into the flags and dance worship, and some people are there as the wisdom and the teachers and the, you know, there's a place for everyone. They talk about that at service all the time, about there's a place for everyone, whether you're a pinky toe or a nose or what. There's a place for you. So
yeah, that's true.
You know, and you can't get discouraged that just because someone else is doing something that, you know, there's not a place for you, because there is. And that's why I always like that, you know, Esther. It's because, you know.
Yeah, and in the time that we were born in too, I see that in that scripture as well, as you know, like, we weren't born during the Civil War, we were born now, and what is it that we're going to see, and what are we going to be, you know, experiencing along the way?
Ooh, all kinds. World's going crazy.
Yeah, it has. It has.
All this Russia and Ukraine stuff.
So, that's something else crazy. Too. And gas prices, everything.
Gas prices, groceries, just the amount of money I just spent at the grocery store.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard, but
God gives us the strength as we go, or we wouldn't be able to do it, that's for sure.
Hence, I wouldn't be sitting here if the Lord if He didn't give me the strength to sit here and overcome my fears of being on camera and talking.
She's really gave me a big favor, and I know someone's going to be blessed by it, because she really did not want to do this, but she is doing this. And I know it's going to reach out to somebody. I
hope so. That's all you can ever hope for, is that you've touched at least one person's life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we see it in a whole entire tribe, the way that it's operated and done. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you think you'd want to return for another?
Well, we'll see. She's been trying to get me to do one for baking and things like that for a long time. So I don't know. We'll see. Because now on, I'm going to be working, so may have to be a video of, you know, on a different day or something, or whenever.
Right.
I have time off or something like that, because I'll be working during the week now. Thank goodness.
I just want her cake.
That's what I got to do to spend the next 2 days baking. So
Wow. Yeah. So you're doing a wedding cake and
my husband's birthday cake.
Oh yeah, Aaron's birthday cake. Are you having a party or?
No, not really. Just dinner and us and stuff. So I want to make him a cake though.
Well, now that he's over the road, that's going to be.
I don't get to see him very often. It's usually 2 weeks in between the time I get to see him. Occasionally, when he gets to come through town, I get to see him. Right. You know, like just stop and go. I'll pick him up out of the truck, take him to eat something, and take him right back to the truck for him to go on down the road.
Yeah, I remember that.
He'll stop in Guthrie close enough for me to come say hi, basically, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I've got to see him this last weekend. One night I got to eat dinner with him and run him to Walmart to get some groceries to put back in his semi. But you know, but most of the time that was just a special thing. Most of the time it's 2 weeks before I see him. So I'm happy that he'll be home this weekend, at least for his birthday. So next year I get to plan a big party for him. Next year it'll be the big 4-0. So.
Oh, we can look forward to that. That's for sure.
Big party. So, but thank you for having me here and talking me into it.
Thank you for being here. I love you, Brandy.
Oh,
I do.
thanks. I love you too.
And
I appreciate it. Like I said, I hope it.
I want to share all my tribe with everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Like,
you know,
meet this person.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta meet her. You gotta meet her. Well, guys, thank you for spending time with us, and thank you, Brandy. I know that was a very courageous thing for you to do today, and you did wonderful. We appreciate you.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So enjoy God's journey.